Welcome to Learning with KG. Today we are going to talk about strategic management in a very simple language. So stay with me and enjoy. Welcome again. This is Learning with KG, and today I want us to just introduce strategic management, and I'll try to do it in a very simple manner. In our first, I would call it episode, I want us to understand what strategic management is, but specifically even the concept of strategy. Now, when you talk about, when you try to define strategy, I would want you to imagine that you are planning, maybe you and your friends, you're planning a road trip. Think about all that will go into that. Now, number one, you'll have to think about the possible destination. There could be so many inside the country and outside the country. But then you'll also have to do the planning, okay? Do the budgeting, the activities, okay? Align which means of transport to get you there. So there is a lot of planning that go towards that road trip. And when you talk about strategic management, clearly, even in an organization, it's more of a road trip that organizations are planning. And in this road trip, they have to determine the destination. And destination here could be, what is that desired future that the organization want to get into? What is that vision that they have as an organization? And then from there now they work backward. Now in the organization road trip, they will have to determine which means of transport will get them there. The same way in your road trip, you'll have to determine which is the best means to take us there. Is it via air? Is it by sea? Is it by road or rail? There are so many. There could be a combination of so many means that can take you there. So for organization, it's the same story. When they have determined the destination of their road trip, that is the vision, they'll have to work backward and ask themselves which means will take us there. And the means here is their strategy. Therefore, when you think about strategy, it helps to answer the question, how shall we get there as an organization? How shall we get into that desired future? So therefore, even at a personal level, you can see that strategy and strategic management clearly is as important as it is in a corporate world. Now, the other bit that I want us to talk about that adds to the definition of strategic management or strategy, and I've tried to simplify this so that really you don't have to struggle so much, but think of a strategy as a means towards the desired future that the organization has. But as it is, you have to agree with me that even when you've planned very well your road trip, things do happen, and we know that. You might have planned for to take a plane, but maybe it is raining too much. There are storms. The flights have been cancelled. So what do? Now those are the challenges along the planning, and you have to rethink about the next possible means of transport. And for organization is also true. At times you do very good planning. Having taken into consideration all possible solution or all possible alternatives, but then along the way things happen. So what do you do as an organization? Okay, your future remain your vision, but the strategy to take you there might change along the way, and it's very possible it happens. But that's where now, as managers, the drivers of the organization or the strategists have to think about the alternative strategy. And some of those, we call them emergent strategy. You may not have planned to use them. So if, for instance, there is storm and the flights have been cancelled, and the alternative is to take a railway or road transport, now that become an emergent, an alternative strategy, because your planned strategy was to take a flight. So that is what happened in organization, and is also true in our practical day-to-day living. But let me also mention something else before we conclude this episode, that when you talk about strategy, and you find this in write-ups and books, we talk of strategy as an art and a science. So what is the difference? We know about artists, people who draws, people who make music, okay? And we know scientists, people who are very methodical, people who are very, very keen. So when you talk about strategy as an art, and this is very also practical, we talk of managers or strategists who use their guts, who use their intuition. And this happened, and we have seen it. Actually, we have Steve Jobs, who has been, who was a leader of a global company, Apple. He was an intuitionist in terms of strategy. He went with his gut, and it paid. We also see Elon Musk with Teslas and all these other businesses that he has. He is so much into intuition, although he combined bit of data and everything. But you can see that the strategy